Welcome to Atlanta. Practice Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Community Junior Honor.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom. Welcome to Atlanta. Practice Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Community Junior Honor.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of those slow motion pictures, bro. One of those slow motion pictures.
You gotta shoot at 60 frames per second.
Come on, that.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it cautious. Cause if they make the wrong move, it cautious. See me, they like, ooh, keep on shopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hit that road shit. I'm on my way. Coming up on my bullshit. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on shopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I brought my army, going up like a rocket. Can't nobody stop me. These niggas garbage, so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slithering house, call me mouth, boy. I'm off the hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. Shorty like, damn, man, you cut up. Nothing I can handle. 144 in the booth, going Rambo. Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. So I play the corner like a bum with a banjo. I'ma lead by example. Who keep on stopping? Got this bitch off the hand, got this juice, got the drip, about to hit the bitch with the salt. It ain't rap, this is salt. Can't taste a bitch unless you with the coke. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it cautious. Cause if they make the wrong move, it cautious. Coming up on my I do it how a veteran be. You better than me. I'm Reggie at the edge of the key. It's all money, no honey. Think you settling, see? You locked up, fucked up, and it's back to the streets. It's one worse. You can check the residency. I reside with soldiers died on the soles of their feet. Cause there's death before designer. Ain't no coward in me. Cause I'm cold as a bitch's shoulder. You ain't calling no heat. Get the cooking on this beat. Hope you like it well done. Got them killers rolling with me and they all red rum, red rum, red rum. Got you fucking scared some. Get the banging on this beat till my fucking head numb. Black block, red drum, black and yellow air ones. Homie, you ain't got a vest. I suggest you wear one.
Told these niggas we was going up. Doing a lot of talking. Now these niggas ain't saying shit.
Feeling like a legend in this shit. Lil nigga, I'm past veteran. Never feeling third. Lil nigga, I'm past second. Guns, I gotta have them all like Ash Ketchum. Shotty break a nigga ribs up like his wife left him. We all stepping. Kill you with kindness cause I'm dead nice. That 5'7" put you 6 feet, not talking height. That judge giving out 5, what you do in life. These hands are rude GPS, a mean right. That's mean right, we build different, you know the vibes. And we stamped it authentic, we notarized. I keep a 144 because I know a kind. Know it's arc, you know I'm with animals when we flowing by. We back again, no cap, when I'm with cap again. Yeah, they say they want smoke until we matching them. Everything righteous, so you know when we get back at them, you get hit up with a K, but no acronym.
They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move it cautious. Cause if they make the wrong move, it cautious. See me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. I'm on my way. Coming up on my bullshit.
You boy. You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. I'm in it, yo. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas. It'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding general, your honor. Straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin' my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown. I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my Hakim gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. the shit, y'all know they can't stand us, but we UPK Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm reppin'. And my niggas solid number real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause
Testing 1 2 1 2, right? If you are one in the chat room, you know, if you hearing me loud and clear, right? Again, Shalom is Isupk Trinidad and Tobago. Again, Isupk started out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. Again, we are not affiliated with no religious group or Israelite group or any organization, right? Again, the truth was established under righteous black men. And again, for some reason, these records don't lie. And this is why it's so important as a so-called Black, Latino, and Native Indian to really pray to the Most High God and ask the Most High God, that, He bring you into this truth. Because again, our King said it best. He said, no man come unto me unless the Father draw him. And if brothers, understood what that really means, then today there would be no break off. There would be no, as we say, quote unquote, religious organization, because now black people would be together as a family. And this is why without these records, without these instructions, this is the condition that we face today. Right? Today, again, I'm Prison Officer Sowapiala under Commanding General Yahana down here in Trinidad. Right? And again, remind us. Everybody see, again, what we're going to speak about tonight, because, the topic tonight is, what Provence, your, there's some Slovakia. What, listen, 1 minute, Slovakia. Right, Slovakia. What province do you live in? Again, so much going on right now. And this is why, we really need to pay attention to what is taking place right now in the black community. And when I talk about the black community, I talk about the black family, right? And without instructions, we see what the challenges that we face today, right? So where we at now, or where we reside at right now, we would think that this is where, our nationality is. This is where, our land of our nativity is. And not knowing that, again, we have a history rich in culture, rich in, being the people that rule this place. And when I say rule this place, that we see what going on right now with our oppressor. He have let me say, a stronghold. Because in Job 9:24, it said the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. We see what is taking place right now. We see the wicked, as they say, having a ball. And to the end of it, because of our culture and our custom, we will not join to any of our oppressors, to any of these other nations. And this is why, without the truth, without the knowledge of the truth, without these records, this is what we face today, right? So again, like, share, subscribe to the classes. Again, come up to, go on the Isupk webpage. Again, you see the information, coming down to the bottom of the screen. Type your questions in the chat. Again, tonight we're going to go into the book again, Esther, right? And it's so important that we read and go into some of our history as well, because again, this Friday, March 13th and 14th, we'll be doing or hosting down here in Trinidad and throughout all the Isupk schools throughout the four corners of the earth, would be having this feast in remembrance of what our enemies had in their mindset to do to us as a people. And when I say our enemies, it stems straight from our oppressor, which is the white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. And that history, you would see the exact same thing taking place. That's why, again, what province do you live in? And again, we thinking that, we so fortunate, like how we like to say down here in Trinidad, we are a blessed country, God does look over we, because as I say, many times natural disaster pass across, they just swing past, the island. And for some reason now within our minds, we thinking that the Lord, is with us. But the end of as I say, the end result of the day, this is how the Lord is being here. Because when it had righteous men, women, as we say, a righteous family within the land, this is why, when Abraham, plead with the angel, if there be, any righteous in the land, to spare, that was Sodom and Gomorrah. We see the end result of that. But we just come out of Jamaica. So now, as we come out of the carnival season, now we see a lot of religious groups, a religious organization start to, have their religious practice after coming out at that season. And this is why, again, Osama Park did a class, last week on Carnival. And again, he went a little in depth in the history of it. Again, check out the video, right? Check out the stream online, right? And you will get necessary information. And this is why, for us as a people, we need righteous black men in the homes to start with, and men that would stand in the fear of the Lord, in understanding what it takes to raise, a family. And this is why now, in order or for you to really learn this, you must come into this school. And we're not bragging or we're not boasting, because now everything established through the records. Everything established through our history. And we see, as the scripture say, when the righteous in authority, the whole earth rejoice. Even the trees, because now everything have a stipulation or have, rules over it. And this is why what we are guided by. We are guided by instructions. And because now we were chosen to be right, we would adhere and follow to these instructions. And this is why the scripture say, if we adhere to all these instructions and to do all this, the Most High God would be with us as a people. And it's time that, we should come back to these instructions, right? So before we go into it, right, we will just read an article, right? You could pull up the article, Baba Kusha. Right. So right. So when they get a chance, you can go ahead and get read the article.
Come. This is the Trinidad and Tobago Daily Express. The headline reads, "Cop finds millions, weapons, illegal migrants in Southland Mall complex raid."
Right. So and where's the date? Where's the date on?
This is dated the 7th of March 2025.
Right. So just think about this. You now come out, let me say, what people deem to be the country with unify, because end of the say carnival is unify the people in the country, and they say carnival is something that is bring all cultures and all races of people together. So now, just right out of that, let me say 3 days or 2 days after, this is what was founded in Trinidad. And we know who the migrants are. They wouldn't identify who they are, because now again, it had a time where they find some containers in the Chinese Association, I believe, where it had a lot of our Hispanic sisters. You notice that they didn't even try to identify it, because now this is what taking place now. Where Trinidad sit, we sit like right in the arms of Venezuela. And let me say in the go to and come from in South America, because now it's like a hub. So anything could filter through here and go through the Americas, go through Europe. And this is why our oppressor understood and know why, they would always, have a stronghold, especially here in Trinidad and again throughout the Caribbean, right? So when we look and read this article, now imagine, as it say, cop find millions, right? Weapons, illegal migrants in Southland Mall complex raid. And we know that right now, currently, what we in currently a state of emergency. And how long it was extended to 3 months? You have by any chance when that 3 months go up?
Slovakia, I'm not sure.
All right, so and we'll check that in a little while. And
Okay.
what we seeing right now, the country in a state of emergency, and look at what taking place. When in truth and in fact, this is something that shouldn't even be be heard about anything like this, because now the whole country, let me say, especially certain things on our lockdown. So now it's like these things only making the news to show or to promote that the service or the police service, working during this time. But really and truly, even listening to the radio and all this morning, you're hearing people, with their remarks that they're still the one that every country is still in a state of emergency, because now brothers and sisters lost in their life, triple murder over the weekend, robbery, things still going on. So now, what really taking place? And this is why now it's so important for us to really understand and to wrap our minds around this truth and to understand the importance of where we are. And this is why when we think that we living in sweet La Trinity or sweet TNT, not knowing we in a place where the Most High God scattered us as a people, and because of our disobedience for not following these instructions, and you saying, is as you say, Afro-Trinidadian, the East Indians calling themselves East Indian. They even say Indo-Trinidadian. They're very rare. You go hear some of them say that. The only time they'll say that is if you ask them that. In their conversation, they know who they are. But in our conversation, we still identifying ourselves as, the place of our residence. That is not our nationality. Right? So let me read a little more in the article by Bakusha.
Officers of the Special Branch executed a raid at the Southland Complex Fulton operations, reportedly linked to a business linked in China. So to businesses linked in China.
So what you see? So now you understand, to get understanding or to know what's taking place, just as I made mention before, that it had a containers with a lot of young, of our Hispanic sisters, and the Chinese and them was the ones who were in control or have ownership of these shipping containers. So this is why it's so important for us to really pay attention. Right? Let's read a little more about Bakasha.
According to police, they seized 2 million. The origin of the money will be investigated. Also arrested with 36 illegal immigrants who were processed by immigration officials, placed on orders of detention, and transferred to the Immigration Detention Center. The migrants were from China and Venezuela.
Yeah, so you see how they try to make it look like if it had Chinese involved there as well.
Okay.
See, because now if they go to say it's only Veni, now you know what happened. The same thing that happened will take place. Let me say a year or two back. Is the same thing that happened, and this happening right through. This ain't going to be the first time or the second time. This happening continually. And most of the time that when these things happen, as I say, is just to shade what really taking place behind the scenes. This is why we need to come back to these instructions and we need to follow these records. Because now, as we say, these provinces that we reside in, the Most High God is going to really put the squeeze on us as a father. And any good father that have care for his children and he seek their rights and their well-being, he would make them to understand the importance of adhering or following instructions. And because of our rebelliousness and because of our stubbornness, this is why now we face these conditions today, right? And we need to adhere to these instructions, because if we don't adhere to these instructions, what will take place with us? Now we would see or we reap, as the scripture say, what we sow. And our sowing is disobedience. And this is what we reaping, right? Because of our disobedience, we reap this. But the Most High God, as any good father that has children, would always, make that provision and make that way back for them. Right? Let me read a little more about Kusha.
According to police, they seized 2 million. The origin of the money will be investigated. Also arrested with 36 illegal immigrants who were processed by immigration officials, placed under orders of detention, and transferred to the Immigration Detention Center. The migrants were from China and Venezuela. Police said they also seized firearms and a quantity of ammunition. A proprietor of Chinese descent is in police custody at the San Fernando police station. The man has a firearm user's license, but the ammunition allegedly exceeded the amount he is allotted, police said.
So you see, imagine, brothers making application for let me say, for firearms and they're getting denied. This Chinese out of China, he have access quick. And again, all this goes because now where we reside, or the provinces that blacks, Latinos, and Native Indian reside in, is ruled by our oppressors. And they would oversee any rule and regulation just to fit their liking or their doing or their will. And it always supersede yours. So now the channel that you go in, you will go through the back door, as we say, you go underhand. And you going underhand is going what? The illegal way. And when you do that now, in order for you to have or to obtain, as we say, these licenses now, then now you would be in you will get certain things in it. But here the thing about it now, it'd be at your own consequence. It would be at your own ill doing. So anything can happen, you will let you're standing your ground for yourself in it. You can get it in it. But this is where it is. But this, as we say, this China man here now, he get a without any repercussion. And as we say, what we're reading about here, this is just a sweep under the door. Right? And again, we're going into the book of Esther, so you hold the book of Esther, right? And we go at chapter 1 because we're going to go in and to read about you know, this family are people that this society run by our oppressors wanted to destroy, you know, this family. And it goes to all of our oppressors. They would have a hand in anything or where we reside. And this is why we say that how when we cry unto the Most High God and we turn, you know, we turn and face the east. Because why? As the scripture said, Jerusalem is the mother of us all. This is where we reside. The people them that reside right now in our homeland is not blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, so-called. I say so-called. Is not Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Gad, Naphtali, Issachar. That's calling these is brothers. These is not the people that reside right now in this, as we say, in these places. Is our oppressors. And where we are right now, we scattered in their provinces. We scattered because now they have rule or have control over everything right now. And again, it said it make it clear in Job 9 and 24. Right? Yeah, we go there or not, or you can read a little more. All right. Go ahead.
Before dawn on Thursday, the police officers moved on a compound at Cross San Fernando, on which a supermarket, motel, restaurant, and casino are operated, and a location that has been the scene of 2 murders in recent years. Among the detainees are children as young as 5.
So anybody want to say anything on it? Yeah?
Yes, like I say,
go ahead.
No, just as they bring out in the article here, it is showing that how this has been going on for years, right? But
right.
This article highlighting something that has been going on for years, that many people have known in the Chinese community and even in the wider part of Trinidad and Tobago, right? That these underhand deals and rackets have been going on, but just as the so-called hierarchy is in Trinidad, you understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is at the bottom of society, you understand? So, without the Most High, without the ISPPK, he can't do nothing about this. You understand? This is just like how we are like for them. That's a normal thing. You understand? Having extra bullets is a normal thing for them. You understand? But for we, you understand? The Lord chosen people. They will highlight it all over the papers. We will be on the front page. They will see a man with the face getting pushed down in the mud. You understand? These are the kind of oppression we will face if something like this is occurred in the black community.
That's right.
But in the Chinese community, that is not a problem. Them they are respect-free. Right? So like yes.
Yeah. So what up for that? Right, and with the way Officer Mike was saying, you know, it have a lot of merit behind it. Because now even, you know, coming up and growing up now, even with you know, let me say our tender time, you would see it had a lot of Chinese parlor shops in the community itself. In, let me say, within the village. And now imagine they in the village now. What would be taking place now? Now a lot of these things would be taking place now. And you would say, nah, and just like where they always used to do, they give you, they would give to you, not knowing that how when you think that they give it, them already buying over you. So now when you check it out now, the own your land, your property, they own everything. And I think the captain did something, a breakdown, I can't remember, but where again it shows that how these people, they will take a loan. And with that loan that they take, because of they being a people and a nation, that blow will affect them. That blow will affect them. And this is why now what we see in here, this just only make news. Today's what? Today's the
So today is the 10th.
the 10th. And the 7th. And ain't even hear nothing about that again. That gone through the wind. But we reading about that and going through the wind already.
Come.
Because now what happening? Now we seeing brothers and sisters, facing daily persecution in wherever, and I'm using the word Provence, because now this is what we're talking about, the provinces that we reside in as a people. And this is why now we're going to go and we go read, right? So what we're doing now, we're getting some, because again, tell brothers and sisters to join us again this Thursday, March 13th, and Friday, March 14th, where brothers or this family would come together in remembrance of the Feast of Purim. And what we're going to read we're going to read through some of the, the chapters. Lord allow, we go through it, and it's going to show or highlight the mindset of us being in these provinces, ruled or looked over by our oppressors, what we'd be looked at, right? So when you get a chance, Babu Gasha, you could start grab the book of Esther and start from chapter 1, Babu Gasha.
From chapter 1?
Yeah, we started at chapter 1.
Oh.
Esther. So let's take turn reading until we come. Right?
Yeah.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is which he reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 120 provinces.
Right. So now we're reading about this king, right? And because he come from a family or a family line that had, that hold over the society or over the earth. It was their time of reign. And this is why we always tell brothers and sisters, in our history, we were the only people that were in captivity under all these nations. Each and every one of these nations had a hand in holding us to ransom, in holding us to, to servitude. And the first out of them was when we were in Egypt. And from that time to now, we're still in servitude. There were times within our records where the Most High God, removed the nations from among us. And we were, as we say, we were that way the scripture called, we were at ease. Because why? We were adhering to the instructions or following the records what were laid before us by our forefathers. The instructions where Moses received from the Most High God to give unto the children of Israel, that they should adhere to do all these commandments, right? In our land. And again, this was in the time where, Solomon would reign. And now we're reading about this king now having rule over these provinces. Who have hold over all these provinces right now? Anybody? Go ahead. Right. right? And what we call them, and the white man. Don't afraid to say the white man or oppressor, because now this is King Ahasuerus, right? What family line or bloodline he was from? Anybody know? I think it was said lower down. I think was the Persian Media Empire. Right, but he still had that royal bloodline, a family that rule over what? Over the earth, over the people or the population. Because now we read and look, we just only touch the first verse in the chapter, and it's showing now. It's showing who? It's showing this king having a hold over what? Over society, or we know. The white man or oppressor have a hold over what? This society. He could call sanction and quite down in, as we say, to the tip of Argentina. Because now, anyway, as we say that blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians reside, we don't rule nothing. We don't own nothing. And from the time we started to take hold of it, one time, look at, as we say, we neighboring brother Maduro, Venezuela. He's fighting right now. So as we say, the whole Asha together, part of Asha, because Asha big, from Colombia to Uruguay. The rest of the next part of Asha, they're not recognizing him as because why? Because now he is not part of that bloodline. He's not part of that family. He come from a royal family of so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. This is why now they always look to him as a dictator. I just using the names that they calling it. But who is the greatest dictator right now? It playing right before our eyes. But you know what happening to blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians? We as we say, we quarantine ourselves just not to highlight certain things, because again, that spirit wouldn't be upon everybody. Because why? The Most High God would always have righteous black men to come on these platforms and to highlight and bring these instructions and to bring or to highlight the current events and situations that are taking place to our people today. And this is why now it's very good again to go back in our history and our records and understand that what we're reading about, we live in it right now, currently. Right? Go ahead.
Esther chapter 1 and verse 2. That in those days when King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace. Verse 3, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and the Medes, and the nobles and the princes and the provinces being before him. Verse 4, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellence, majesty, many days, even 180 days.
So this king, as we say, he just, showing off his wealth, showing off, what, as a king, ruling and as we say, this is why these records, this. When you go back and you really read this, and this is why the scriptures say that these gates will be open night and day. Night and day. Because imagine this heathen, having, as you say, having his feast, with as you say, with as we say, with the United Nations, because that way it is right now. Because now out of these provinces, he had men, who they would come together under one conglomerate, under one mind, are people who would, have hold over these provinces. And again, any brother or sister that has any doubts or any confusion within their mind, here is the place to come to remove that confusion. Here is the place where you could come and relieve yourself of the trauma of this society. Because outside of here, outside of these walls, what will take place here? You'll be vulnerable or victims towards any and every one of our oppressors. They would take full advantage of you. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto the great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. Verse 6. Where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings, and pillars of marble. The bed were of gold and silver, upon the pavement of the red and blue, and white and black marble. Verse 7. And they gave them drink in the vessel of gold, the vessel being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king.
Imagine this. Imagine you're reading this, and then when you go back, because again it have a lot of, especially when the instructions was given to the priests or the priesthood at that time, that we say coming out from Egypt, and where we were going to reside in our own land, and these men and them were given the blueprint of how we're going to lay down or how we're going to decorate this as we say this place. We see that the heathens and them, before understanding or knowing how we say to have a place royal, they would be like what, like as we say, like beasts. Because remember now when we go back and we read with Joseph being in Egypt, they had no clue or no idea how, let me say, to carry about themselves. Because now they would not, as the scripture say, they would not have or sit with sheep, with sheep herders. I just say, as the scripture say, they would not sit down with men who, let me say, of a lower class than them. And because of us not adhering to instructions, now the Most High God would always, again, bring that warning to us. And now we're reading again about a warning for us and to pay attention in these provinces that we reside in. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure.
Right? So now it's like at that time, hey, all enjoy all yourself. All like all yourself. And again, when you look at how the structure Israel wasn't like that. Because now you having or everybody in that mindset, it come like you're vulnerable for any let me say, intruder, any attack that will come upon you. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 9. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
Right? So now his, as I say, his wife, she as well had a feast for the women. Go ahead.
Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bistat, Habunah, Bigtat, Abatat, Zelta, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains that serve in the presence of Ahasuerus the king.
Go ahead.
Kawankan, verse 11. To bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
Right. So again, this king, wanted, to show his woman, to, let me say, to the people, or to the people that he was entertaining at that time. He wanted to let everyone know, hey, what do you think about her? And again, this is heathen custom. Our women don't even have to go through that. But again, he being the king, he want everybody to know, hey, you see, this is my woman. This is my wife. Right? Go ahead.
Kawankan, verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore, the king was very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment. Verse 14. And the next unto him was Kashena, Shatter, and Adamata, Tarshish, Meris, Masena, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media.
Right? And when it said next to him, these were the men who, if anything was to take place, could rule over these provinces as well. This is why it said next to him. Anybody that close to you would be, let me say, the next person to be in charge or to rule at that time. And this is why, they seeing this is not a good look. And we go see what's going on. Go ahead.
Kawankan, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. Verse 15. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? Because she had not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains.
Right, and in just listening about that law is like, hey, she didn't adhere to the instructions of the king, because like, hey, I sent a call here and they didn't respond. Now that form of disrespect. This is why I say to the commandment, because a command was given and she didn't respond to the command. Go ahead.
Kawankan, verse 16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti, the queen, had not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought before him, and she came not. Verse
Right.
18.
So just looking at this verse we read right now, it's showing you what happening with the black woman today. Because now it say, for this deed the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported, right, that the queen to be brought before him, but she came not, right? So now it shows you the rebelliousness of a woman. And that today, this is why now these other nations, as you say, trump us. Because now the black woman would always be in contention with the black man. Even to the point where she where society would bring her to the point where she would, and I'm not saying getting your education is a bad thing, where she would oversee herself and look at, she more educated than her husband, than the brother, than the black man. And in all that, she would show that sense of rebelliousness and stubbornness towards him, and, as you say, usurp that authority, as the scriptures say, when she's not supposed to do that. And these heathens recognize that. This is why, why they could have clamped down on it early. They could, as you say, they could have get rid of that plague early from amongst them. And this is why the Most High God always tell us, and he reminded us, when certain things, he say, like when the brother thrust the javelin through Eliezer, through the heathen, and one of the next, the Most High God say, you just stop a plague in Israel. They understood that this happening here could do what? Could be a plague amongst them. Women here in this, remember now, over she had an all-women party. She had an all-women dance party. And women now, as we say, and these women will be who? The wives are who? Are these princes and them. Waiting what happen? You feel them going and take the insult one time. They're looking to cut that. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
Is that what it say? It go have real contention in that house, in the household. Go ahead.
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written up.
If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the and the Medes that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her a royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Right. So now what we saying that we're going to stop this plague from what is happening. So now she is going to be what? Removed from her position that she would, because now she's what? She was queen, but she didn't understand what it means as a queen to be humble. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 20, and when the king decree, which he shall make, shall be punished throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husband honor, both to the great and the small. Verse 21, and the saying pleased the king and the prince, and the king did according to the word of Memucan.
Right. So now after the instructions, after they sit and they understood, or they came together, they draft up this document that would be sent throughout all the provinces, because now they didn't want this plague to let loose, because if this plague had gone out, they themselves would face the similar, let me say, repercussions of that woman usurping that authority over the head. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 22, for he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and in that should be published according to the language of every people.
Right. So now this went through for everybody. So now that woman would know anytime she tried to overstep she boundary, she could get far away. She could get far away. And again, this is why these records are so important to us today, because us not adhering or following these instructions, and as we say, running after the customs of this society, now what will happen to our women? Now we see our women doing us the same thing here today. Sometimes you can't talk to me. That's the black woman attitude, the Hispanic woman attitude. And this is why, without us knowing and understanding the importance of being a family and coming back to these instructions, now we see what we face today in society. Right? Go ahead.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 1. After these, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Verse 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of heads the king, chamberlains, keeper of the woman, and let their things for purification be given to them.
Right? So now a lot of people hear this word virgin and would think that it only pertains to a woman that hasn't had any sexual activity. Just look up the meaning of virgin in the question, right? So you get a proper context on what virgin is, right? Because now, even coming up, you know, men with call themselves, you know, that as well too. And this is why, you know, it's so important for brothers to know that, hey, you ain't no virgin, right? This only pertain to what we're going to read, what a virgin is just now, right? When you get your reading back.
The Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Virgin, a young unmarried woman.
A young one?
A young unmarried woman.
It say a young unmarried man.
A young and unmarried woman.
So this is a brother. He ain't no virgin, right? This is only speaking of a woman, right? A young unmarried woman, right? Go ahead and the scripture, Babakasha.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 4. And let the maidens which pleased the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jah, the son of Shemel, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Verse 6. Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which he had been carried away with Josiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away.
Right. So again, all this history that is speaking about, you can go back in let me say Second Kings, First Kings, you know, and you see where it had that time after you know the reign of Solomon, and Solomon passed, it had a split in the kingdom. And with that split in the kingdom now, you know, as you say, this family started, you know, be let me say ripped apart by men seeking power and not seeking to be brothers. And with that now, every, let me say, the family or the nation, it was split into two. Right? And you would hear from time to time, you talk about the southern and the northern kingdom. This is where, you know, we were separated because of, as we say, because of men holding the position of being responsible and not understanding what it takes to serve, and being unresponsible and, you know, ripping the nation apart even more. And this is why now when we end up in every major captivity that you know that we know about or recorded inside our year, is because of this. It's because of not adhering to these instructions. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Right? So now this brother, as we say, Mordecai, right? And we'd say he was is like
Uncle.
read verse 7 again, Babu. Right?
Esther chapter 2 and verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter.
Right. So this is his uncle's daughter. So he uncle daughter. Go ahead.
For she had neither father nor mother.
Right.
And the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Right. So if it's his uncle daughter, who is Mordecai to Esther? Like a cousin. Now we say today cousin. We say cousin because now we're telling you that she father it was his uncle. So that would be what we call today cousin. And being a big cousin now, he was like a father to her. And we see similar situation that take place right now, even in the black community. Because a lot of as we say, sisters and even brothers, who lost both mother and father, they will be taken sometime by the cousin, a big cousin who might own certain things or have the overseeing of certain things, right? And he would become like a father or a mother to that person. This situation, he came like a father unto her because now his teaching to her was these instructions. So this is why when you read on down more, it shows you that what Mordecai taught this sister, right? He didn't remove anything from these instructions, right? Go ahead.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Hegai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women.
Right. So this woman would be the woman now within the king's palace who would oversee all the affairs of these women. And this is why to understand and to know that these records, as we say, it's so, let me say, foundational that they understood what it takes, let me say a screening process. You ain't just coming in just so. It's a screening process that is taking place. And this is why now in the Isupk under Commanding General Yana, it always has that process where, just as we say, brothers, come in, it had the 90 days, all black. Same thing with the sisters. Same thing with brothers when in going to deal with that sister, it always had that screening process. Right? It always had that time period. So this person now ain't go just run up inside here now and hey nah. And we see what we see happening right now, as we see with them as we see them fake Israelites and them right now. A break off from a break off with the screening process right now. Just like again, the manager highlighted and all yesterday, he say he ain't sure if this cat might be working for somebody. He ain't sure, but because of not adhering or following this process, we could see the end result of it. And what we see here now, this person, as we say, being keeper over the woman and them, now was going to what this process of screening was going to take place, right? So nobody just come in, because remember now what happened to the king before with this woman? She did not adhere to him. She could have brought, as we say, he crown into, as we say, into a place where nobody would have respect for him. So now this whole process must take place, and we go see as we read on down. Go ahead.
Verse 9, and the maidens pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him. And he speedily gave her things of purification, with such things as belonged to her. And the 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the woman. Verse 10, Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Right. So now what we seeing here? We seeing what? And Salakia. Anybody at God, make sure all the thing. Don't let somebody walk out just so Bible question. Right? Because remember now this is something that we have to pay attention to. Remember this already come out there Bible question. Right? So anybody but other leave off, just make sure ask the guard, right? To one shaman, right? We don't want, as we say, nothing full time now, right now, Babu Kasha. Right? Right. So read over where now are the Babu Kasha.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Right. So just as we say, this brother like being a father, even when before she even went in, he would have sit down and have a talk with her. And let her know the do's and the don'ts. Because why? It always had a reputation to uphold. And being amongst the heathen, as the Swedish scripture say, never what? Never trust your enemy. Because why? He know from growing up who he was, who his people was. And this is what he taught this sister. So don't have no trust in as we say in these people, because now these are your enemies. These are our enemies. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Now when every maid turn was come to go into the king of Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the woman, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, with 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for purifying of the woman.
Right. So now we see in that time frame, that period of time. So it's like, hey, as the scripture say, 12 months. So it have a time for this and it have a time period for that. So now it given this person this time period to do what? To let me say to get herself right. They call it that time of purification. Because now the position that you would be placed in, it wouldn't be light. Because now you sit in a position, as we say, as a woman being, a wife to the person or the king who in charge over these provinces. So now his reputation would always be at stake. And any, let me say, one outer, let me say, that family member, anytime that they bring his reputation into question, now it can have repercussions. And this is why now, again, when you read earlier on, that this is why these men and them could have say, let's sit down and do this, because you see that a person, the person who in charge, reputation would be, as you say, before the how much provinces, how much, 100 and how much? In chapter 1, 100 and how much? 127 provinces. Because now we know how, as we say, word is go out quick. The king get his respect by it. And as we say, the time that we in right now is just a push our button. It's just a push our button. And one time, it's out there. This is why now again, we need to, as we say, to adhere and follow instructions. Right? Because now we're reading here, now we're seeing the same exact thing taking place right now. Because again, where we reside right now, we're not in our own homeland. We scatter through the four corners of the earth. We're in provinces all over the earth. We serve under different slave masters at different time period. Some of our brothers may hold position. We see that why you see coming out captivity. Joachim, Jeroboam. These were brothers. It come like politicians. Brothers who get seat or who hold that seat of power. They don't know how to deal with the people or brothers. Because now they're thinking that each and every one of these nations love them. Not knowing they were always again about their own gain. Because now we read about any one of these kings after with the break in the kingdom ruling over any one of these provinces, reading about a king who ruled over all the provinces, even us and all, because now where we are right now, we will serve with you. We're serving all oppressors. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then thus came every maiden unto the kings. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the woman unto the king's house. Verse 14. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the woman to the custody of Sharagaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came unto the king no more, except the king delight in her, and that she were called by name. Verse 15. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abigail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the woman, appointed.
Right. So now we see in the screening process. So now it's like every one of these women that were there at that point in time, they would, go and, the king would choose or see, well, who he would favor, right? And this is why it's when they come no more. So it's like, another one. And now it reached a who turn to Esther's turn, right? Go ahead.
The keeper of the woman appointed, and Esther obtained favor in the sight of all of them that look upon her.
Right. So now everybody that were amongst, these, as you say, these virgins that were called, to the king who would have that choice, who would sit on that throne instead of, as we say, to replace Vashti, she was in the sight of them all, she had favor in the sight, in all the eyes of these women or that were amongst her. Right? Because again, the scripture identify her. Her look, her countenance. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house. Salakia, into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebet.
Right? Look up and see what Tebet is, Baba Kusha. Right? Because now, again, this is why it's so important, again, in knowing the times that we're in right now and to identify it, because a lot of things that our oppressor with change or customs, as we say, seek to change the time, the seasons, and with that, brothers and sisters will be lost in not understanding the time that we're in or the season that we're in right now. Because now they just celebrated, the New Year, January 1st, when really and truly died the dead of winter. Nobody goes nowhere. Nothing grows in the dead of winter. Right? Let's get back to show.
I'm sitting here, that's not C calendar.
Yeah?
In the compact, that's not C calendar, but you don't have the exact month.
Right. It just mark calendar.
C calendar.
C calendar.
But you don't have the exact month.
Right.
You have all the months.
Right.
So that's it.
You can pull it up on the on Google.
Oh.
Right. So now, where we at? Chapter 1, verse.
So like that's what we at verse 16.
16.
Oh.
All right. Read on some more. When you get to that's pull it up.
Oh. Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight, more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
So we see now, as we say, after that time, that process of time, that 12 months, after she been calling, now the king make a choice. This is who going to sit on as we say, on Vashti throne, right? And he, as the scripture says, he had favor, right? And he what? He in his sight, and all the virgins, right? And again, in all the women of marriageable age, right? She found favor, right? Go ahead.
So like I said, it's saying here, Tebet is the 10th month of the Hebrew calendar, and that will fall between December and January.
Right. So we know, just again, the importance of understanding what it really means. We can just as I said, they just celebrate New Year's, and they say that at the 10th month on the calendar. Right? Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 18. And the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king.
Right. So she already understood, again, being brought up right. So she go sit down and eat what them eating. She went, follow, let me say, the ways, because again, she understood and she was brought up right. Let me just put it, she was brought up right. And this is why I'd say, even Esther's feast, right? So she had things where she go eat. The king had no problem with that. Right? Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 19. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Verse 20. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him.
You see, she didn't disobey the instructions. And again, when we go back and we read concerning, this woman or a proverb, the proverb woman at the end in Proverb 31, it say, the woman that fear the Lord. And we will see as we read on down a little more, because why? The commandment that Mordecai gave her was the instructions that we were separate people. We are customs, we are cultures. We have a dietary law. We have civil law. Name it. You go back right inside of these records and read. And we could see that these instructions, that the scripture said, none will fail. It won't fail. If we walk after these instructions, it won't fail. We fail it because we fail to adhere to it, because now the scripture say that again in Ezekiel, that we were stubborn and rebellious. We stiff heart. We always like to come up against righteous instructions and fail to adhere to these instructions. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigatan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on King Ahasuerus.
Right. So these were, as we say, his men or his guard, and something displeased them. It didn't identify, but something displeased them. And they decided, as you say, they started a plot against the king to do what? To unalive him. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it to Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Right. And this was something that, again, the more when you go back in these records and you actually sit down and you read and you see the mindset of let me say, of righteous black men and women walking after instructions, understanding, the importance of family. Now you would see the heathens and them. They would come amongst us, and they would listen everything. And the more that we keep on, giving them or feeding them, let me say, fuel for them to be above, is the more they will be above us. Because now they understand what it means to be a people and what it means to be, as they say, a family. And now Esther understood, as you say, didn't take no, as you say, seek to do anything of her own. She understood what it means to have a family, and Mordecai was her family. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of Chronicles before the king.
So you see, long story short, these men and them plot to kill the king, to unalive him. The report going up, sister make, inquisition that this is who it came from, right? Remember again, everything taken record, even they take records, and we see it, as we say, we will see it further down. They take records as well of any act of injustice and justice, any act of a good deed, and as you see, some that will bring the repetition of the king into dispute. Everything taken record. Right? Go ahead.
The book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. Verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
Right. So, and again, this heathen, as we say, and from a family of the oppressor, as we say, or the white man. This devil, this beast, one time, as he received power, you see his movement immediately. This is why now when we see what taking place right now in America with this beast, as he received power one time, he making haste, sanction on this one, sanction on that one. We had to get back this, we had to get back that one time. Because why? Being, as you say, in subjection, can't handle that. So now his reign or his time of power is like, hey, I ain't giving up this truth until death. And this is how this beast is ruled. As we say, our oppressor, white man, therefore that the Bible speak about. This is how we is ruled. When he get that power or that authority, he doesn't let loose that authority so easy. You have to rip it from him. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Verse 4. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew.
So now they know again. Back to Haman. And just like any heathen, when they see, let me say, a black, Hispanic or Native Indian man not following the instructions. One time they run to tell the boss, boss, look in doing this, you know. Look in doing that. Why? Because they already sell themselves. They already give in. This is who, as we say, these other nations, and this is why, as I say, they are confederate. They are together. When they're not ruling and when they're ruling, they're still confederate. This is why now the article we'll read about in the early part of the class. A Chinaman could come down here without anything and he could get what? A license for arm. Because why? The confederate. They're together. And any accusation or any, let me say, report against them, they know how to, you know, waver, maneuver through it, to push to the side. How much drugs, how much guns pass through? And because now is, as we say, is the oppressor, it will always have a waiver in it. But you in the black community now, as we say, in the ghetto, in the barrio, reservation, from the time you touch that, you label as you say, the most heinous and, you know, evil thing in this earth. You having hold of that is like, hey, in order to say, like anything you touch, it is like it destined to fail. And that failure is like you're going to show up the rest of your people. But they do everything wrong and their people don't show up. Their people don't be, as you say, don't have names, as you say, like what is called, as we say, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. And in general, draw something that was so heavy, even when brothers hold certain status in this society, they'll always use the term where our oppressor would use. And they would call brothers that just to appease the self. Just Thursday in the class where Jennifer Hyman was breaking down. The white man would call you that. Our oppressor would call you that. And you now would take that now and you feel that, hey, as we say, that other names you could use to describe your brother. But now this name now, it appease you because now you appease or as you say, a side with our oppressor, with this beast, with this devil. You side with him. And now we see clear right here. These men then side with Mordecai. They run straight back to the oppressor. Right? You done a little bit? Oh, sure.
Come on.
Right? And I know well we go finish up on it, but we just going into it because again, this Thursday and Friday, which would be March 13th and 14th, would be, you know, the Feast of Purim. And this is as you say, the story of this sister Esther, you know, who had, you know, a part to play being brought up right in, you know, helping a people and a nation not be, as we say, be slaughtered by our oppressor. And we see what taking place right now with our brothers and sisters, as we say, Issachar brothers right and sisters right now, you know, being, as we say, trampled and rolled over, as we say, in Latin America by this beast. We see what taking place right now with our next door neighbor, Venezuela, which is, our brother or the tribe of Asha. We see what taking place to them right now because of this beast having power and flexing, in every much way. And when be, insulted, what he would deem to be insult, I insult. You not listening to him is deemed an insult, right? You not following the instructions is deemed an insult. And this is what we're seeing right here, right now. Right? Let me read that little part, Babu Kusha.
Esther chapter 3 and verse 4. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Full of what?
Full of wrath.
And we just as are now brought out, anything that we do as a people and it's not appeasing to the white man, he'll be angry. Because why? He don't have the authority or rule over you. And this is his own selfish gain and loss. And this is why, again, these records so glorious. So glorious and so right. And it's a reminder to us today, as a people and as a family, that these instructions must be adhered, must, be followed right. And us not adhering and following these instructions could be our demise, could be our fall in this society. And daily we see what is taking place in the Black community. But know this, in the Isupk under Commander General Yana, this family will continue to thrive and continue to build by righteous Black men standing for truth, by righteous Black men taking heed to these instructions. Right? And this is why, wait, say, let's read that last part, verse 5, Babu Kusha. All right.
Esther chapter 3 and verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
All right, read verse 6, Babu Kusha.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Right. So after that, this was the intention of this beast. And we see the beast flexing his muscle today. This is his intent. Despite our taking place, as we say, over in the Middle East, his intent right now is to destroy, as we say, the whole West. To make what? America great again. Because, as we say, everything that's happening right now on this side has a ripple effect. And that ripple effect goes straight, as we say, to these 12 brothers, these tribes where we reside. We see what's taking place in Haiti. We see what's taking place with Cuba. We see what's taking place with Puerto Rico. And all of these is just, as we say, by names given by our slave master. We're talking about Levi. We're talking about Ephraim and Manasseh. These is brothers, right? Manasseh being Cuba, Ephraim being Puerto Rico. Haiti being, tribal Levi. see what happening. See what happening tribe of Benjamin, the Caribbean right now. As we say, the big deal, as we say, that Trinidad, quote unquote, supposed to come true. We see it to the point where it's in shambles right now, in our surety, because are sanctioned by the beast. And again, all these things is a reminder to us, right? So again, we will continue off on this, Thursday, Lord allow, right? And telling brothers and sisters, to come down to the feast, come down to, the school location on the screen, going across the screen, right? Come down to the school. Any information, any, questions brothers and sisters need to ask, I give you, throw it up in the chat box, throw it up in the chat room. Contact the information. If you're down here in Trinidad, Morris Street, Point 14 is where you want to be Thursday and Friday at the school to break bread with your brothers, with your family. And this is so important to us today as a people and as a family and as a nation. Because now we see what taking place here, what happening, that this beast, or say the devil, he vexed and he wanted to destroy everybody, this whole family, right? Again, this Isupk Trinidad and Tobago, again under Commanding General Yana, right? Feast of Purim again Thursday and Friday, right? March 13th and 14th. Down at the school again, the Lord's 56th annual Passover coming up on again. Join us, right? And with that, take it. Right, the class, the priest and officer shall.
Security announcement. We had Isupk out of 123 Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister come to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the will. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a peculiar person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There's another 6 months which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10th in Hebrew as from Maishara. 10% of every penny and increase the Lord give you. Give to your treasury department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, non-mandatory. Whatever amount you like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that will be the Feast of Purim. That will be the 14th and the 15th day of the 12th month. That will be Tuesday and Friday of March. You can find this in Esther chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Remind your community that watch them to check on social media such as Isupk, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for Isupk events and material. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirt, like pants, like headband or scarf. That we say, Imagine, sir, for no acadom. You want to say Lord pray in Hebrew? Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Lakwaka, Sabah, Atazaka, Aisha, Aratiza, Kawa, Aya,
Aya,
Washamayam,
Samaya,
Natan,
Nathan,
Nanawa,
Nawa,
Lakam,
Akam,
Kal,
Kal,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalak Noah,
Salakno,
Abuwaki Noah,
Wajina,
Wasilak Noah,
Salakno,
Abuwaki Noah,
Wajina,
Wala,
Wala,
Tabia Noah,
Tabenawa,
Wasawan,
Sawan,
Abol,
Bal,
Oshai Noah,
Ashana,
Bayan,
Ayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Malakwa,
Malakwa,
Wala,
Wala,
Wataparat,
Wataparat,
Wailumium,
Rai Walamim,
Aman.
Aman. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Sir, let's get a teacher one to do. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh
Yabba Shem Shirkatam.
Yadmeta. Sir. So now get this 2009 one to do. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shemalatam Bashem Yoshai.
Yadmeta. Yeah, yeah, sure, Sakata, yeah. Yeah, yeah, sure, Sakata, yeah, man.